Have you ever wondered what it's like to step into Gwyneth Paltrow's world of wellness, even if just for a day? Join me as I visit the In Goop Health Summit that took place here in Orange County, California, at the beautiful Park Hyatt Aviara in Carlsbad. Hi, I'm Elle, Intuitive Wellness Coach for Women, and today I'm sharing what it's like to attend an In Goop Health Summit, and I have all your burning questions covered. Who were the guest speakers? What are the newest wellness trends? Was everything there gluten-free? What's in the gift bag? And of course, did Gwyneth drop the F-bomb? Spoiler alert, yes, she did, 3 times. So stick around for all the juicy details. I'll be covering all this and more in today's video, so let's get goopy. When I saw that the In Goop Health Summit was headed to my local area, I just couldn't pass up the opportunity to immerse myself in this wellness wonderland. And if you follow my channel, then it's no surprise that I'm very goopy. I might be the goopiest person that I know. I've had friends tell me that I should work for Goop. I remember receiving the first Goop newsletter back in 2008, and I've been inspired by the evolution of this brand ever since. Goop is a progressive force and has become an essential resource for wellness and clean living. It's thanks to Goop that I have been introduced to life-altering health information and perspectives that go beyond the mainstream. And these openings have helped to move the needle of my own personal health in a way that has brought healing into my life. And this ultimately led me to pursuing health coaching and certifications in integrative nutrition, lifestyle medicine approaches, and hormone health for women. Goop has brought many wellness issues and methods to light years before other popular media and publications, whether it's information about which foods and supplements best support thyroid health, to supporting our detox pathways, to adopting alternative health practices, tending to ourselves with our self-care and mental health, incorporating superfoods into our diet, or the power of using clean products on our skin and in our homes. So, needless to say, I was eagerly anticipating my very first In Goop Health Summit, which was the 11th such event that they've hosted. The full day agenda spanned expert talks, a connection building workshop, a movement session, pop up interactive wellness stations, an Ask Me Anything session with Gwyneth, and a panel conversation with Gwyneth and special guests. Breakfast, lunch, and snacks throughout the day were included, and a gift bag filled with beauty and wellness products. And when I say filled, I mean barely able to carry it for more than a few minutes on one shoulder. The summit was held at the beautiful Park Hyatt Aviara in Carlsbad, and although the day started off a little overcast, by lunchtime in the outdoor garden, the sun came out and it became a typical sunny OC day. It all began at check-in when we received a colored bracelet that allocated us into 3 breakout groups in preparation for interactive sessions later in the day. But first, breakfast. This was served as a buffet-style spread with berries, melons, pastries, bread. There was also an avocado toast and a couple of gluten-free toast options with almond butter and banana, and one with cream cheese and cucumber. Event partners Purely Elizabeth provided a gluten-free granola to top a very delicious raspberry chia and peach parfait, and there were coffee and tea stations with a variety of options. They also had a green juice that was really good. It was really light and sweet. This all took place in the grand foyer, where there was also a mini Goop shop set up with G-label clothing, jewelry, beauty products, wellness tools, clean cosmetics, supplements, and more. There were discounts and pre-launched clothing items available. There are also seated areas here to lounge, relax, and meet other guests and chat. This space was open throughout the event, so you could grab snacks and drinks and peruse the Goop store. The most popular items seem to be the Goop graphic puff sleeve pullover, which will make an appearance a little later in the day. And perhaps that was due to the hotel meeting spaces tending towards the cooler side. The suggested dress code for this event was athleisure wear, since there was going to be a movement session as part of the breakout groups. I wore 3 light layers and I wished I'd brought a sweater, so next time I will come prepared with warmer clothing. Following breakfast, we made our way into the main stage where we gathered for a brief welcome message before the first session began with therapists Laurie Gottlieb and Claire Bidwell Smith, and they discussed topics around the role of therapy and mental health. Laurie Gottlieb is a psychotherapist and the New York Times bestselling author of the book Maybe You Should Talk to Someone, which is being adapted as a TV series. And Claire Bidwell Smith is also a therapist and author and recognized as one of today's foremost experts on grief. Some of the takeaways from this session were that by making a change in our life, even if it's just something positive, it often involves loss because we are having to give up something that's familiar to us. So, having self compassion around change is important in terms of being able to maintain positive change in our life. Laurie Gottlieb reminded us that the person we talk to the most isn't our partner, our kids, our friend, or our parents. It's ourselves. So, self talk is something that we can be more mindful about and try to avoid that inner voice that is bullying us. Change the radio station to a kinder, more compassionate voice while still remaining accountable for our goals. She also talked about the importance of the stories that we tell ourselves in helping to shape our lives and behaviors. She shared lots of tips and perspectives on how to become more self aware, take control of our day, deal with anxiety, find the right fit when it comes to therapy, and living with more connection, meaning, and purpose. This was a wonderfully thought provoking opening session for the day. And if you'd like to learn more about Laurie Gottlieb, she co hosts the podcast called Dear Therapist. I'll drop the link below. Following the first session, the audience split into three breakout groups to rotate between three different activities: a workshop, pop up stations, and a movement session. The group I was in began with the workshop. It was on the science of attachment, led by Stan Tatkin. And he developed the psychobiological approach to couples therapy, also known as PACT. And he's the best selling author of the book Wired for Love: How Understanding Your Partner's Brain and Attachment Style Can Help You Diffuse Conflict and Build a Secure Relationship. He teaches people how to sustain secure, functioning relationships, and I found him to be a brilliant man. He works in the fields of neuroscience and neurobiology, studying the brain and the nervous system as it relates to forming a secure relationship. In this short workshop, he offered so many tools for dealing with relationship conflict and distance and gave examples on how to foster connection. And he also answered individual questions from the audience. He revealed the biases of the human brain and what our defense and survival responses are, and how these things can play out in a relationship when we feel under stress or in conflict with our partner. He was able to meld so many topics and disciplines together to give a holistic insight into what goes on when couples disagree or fight: evolutionary, neurological, and nervous system responses, attachment styles, relationship agreements, principles and values, durability, teamwork, dealing with external influences on the relationship, and more. This was rich with insight and practical approaches for creating a secure relationship. He just released a new book called In Each Other's Care: A Guide to the Most Common Relationship Conflicts and How to Work Through Them. And we were lucky enough to get a copy of this book in our gift bags. And it's just so practical. It's organized by different categories of common complaints, and it gives you the scenarios of how to approach these to create mutual relief and security within the relationship. It's like a repair manual for getting out of the pattern of conflict and how to manage your triggers. So, this was really such a valuable session, and it was so great to get a book to take away and learn more. Next up, we headed out into the greatly anticipated pop up booth area to explore and test beauty and wellness tools. I noticed in the event guide that one of the pop up stations was the application of ear seeds, something that I've been wanting to try. So I headed directly to that station when I entered the room. Ear seeds are a form of acupuncture, and the ear is a microsystem of the body. Dr. Stolberg applied three 24-karat gold ear seeds to my ear to support digestive health, hormones, and stress. You can follow her on Instagram to learn more about ear seeds and the Way Clinic. I'll leave a link below. Some of the other pop-up stations included astrology readings, a Goop Glow skin reset, red light therapy by higher dose, a top golf swing suite at the hotel, and a salt electrolyte station. Before I ventured into the hydration room booth to get my B12 shot, I stopped at the well-spirited bar to pick up a Manuka tonic, a pretty mocktail made with Manuka honey. They also had a matcha mocktail and a couple of other delicious drinks to keep the wellness vibe going. After my B12 shot, I needed some relaxation, so I visited the Gua Sha Scalp Massage Station by Yina for a scalp meridian massage with their natural handcrafted buffalo horn scalp comb gua sha tool to activate therapeutic acupressure points and meridians.
And then we're going to use the cone tool to help bring up this area to the base of the skull. And this helps with releasing all that neck tension.
This practice enhances hair health and scalp vitality. They also gave out a facial sheet mask, which I'm excited to try as well. There were plenty of snacks in the pop-up suite, so I munched on some 12 Tides puffed kelp chips, and then it was time to circulate into the next breakout session for a chance to move our bodies. As we entered the aromatherapy meditation space, we were greeted by members of the Goop team who presented us with trays of crystals so that we could each choose a stone that called to us. The stone I was drawn to turned out to be an amethyst crystal. And then we found a mat to settle into to begin our practice. Reiki master, yoga teacher, and sound healer Claudia Yates led us through a multimodality session that was both grounding and uplifting. It began with setting an intention, repeating a mantra, and some gentle breath work. We were then led through a flow of yoga asanas and into a meditation where Claudia used the crystal sound bowls to imbue the space with immersive sound. Vibration flowed through the body and the mind, and it was one of the best sound healing sessions that I have experienced. There's nothing like a sound bowl meditation. It fills your mind with those soothing vibrations of sound in an experience that's hard to describe, but deeply centering and relaxing. Following the meditation and yoga session, it was time for a Goop group lunch outdoors in the sunny garden. And before we get into the details about that, at this point, I have to acknowledge the incredible Goop team. The entire event was perfectly executed by the friendly and down-to-earth Goop team. Everything flowed, and they were just so relaxed and supportive without being intrusive or bossy. It was truly a dreamy experience, and they made it happen. So, as someone who has produced my fair share of events, their supportive, friendly, professional, relaxed presence did not go unnoticed. So, shout out to the Goop team. Okay, lunch was a revelation. I tried to capture the magic of it without being one of those annoying people with their phone out, but I did manage to take some footage to try to capture the beautiful location and the design and production of this event. As you walk out and down the stairs into the garden area, the Goop team members were only too happy to assist with taking photos of the guests at the In Goop Health sign. Lunch was buffet style, and there was a menu available as you line up so you could see the meal choices. And yes, there were plenty of gluten-free options and vegan options. And there was also beef, chicken, and fish dishes. So it was an abundant offering that would suit a variety of dietary approaches. There were four tasty gourmet salads to choose from: a parsnip, sage, and white bean soup, bread rolls, crispy Brussels sprouts, and a red rice side dish. I chose some of the salads, the red rice, and herb-crusted salmon. The salmon was perfectly cooked, and the red rice with the kale and celery root had an amazing flavor and texture. Everything was incredible, and flavor was not compromised in these healthy whole food dishes. For dessert, there were mini cakes, slices, and puddings, and most of them were gluten-free and dairy-free. I chose an apple and coconut custard and a mini carrot bundt cake. They were both really good. The apple coconut custard was incredible. The lunch break was also an opportunity to meet with like-minded people, and I had some great conversations with some of the guests. We discussed things like hormone health, women in business, and the dichotomy of having all of this conflicting health information out there and having to really become the leader of your own health and do the research and the inner reflection to really identify the wellness paths that work for your bio-individuality. That's why I love these types of events. They introduce you to wellness options that you may not have discovered before and new wisdom that could open up a journey of healing. After lunch, we reached the pinnacle of the summit, the moment everyone had been waiting for, being part of an intimate audience with GP herself, ready to answer our questions in the fireside chat session. Gwyneth took to the stage wearing the new Goop graphic puff sleeve pullover and a G label gold necklace. She looked tanned and glowing, and her hair looked very healthy and shiny, and she answered a variety of questions from the audience. If you've ever seen interviews with Gwyneth, she was as relaxed, engaged, and authentic as ever, and it was an honest, sometimes funny, other times vulnerable conversation about everything from her current interests to what kinds of therapy she does to business ventures, family life, and finding balance.
Hello, good afternoon. How are we all doing?
Okay, I promised you the scoop on the Gwyneth Paltrow F-bombs. When she was asked about something that she'd like to learn, she talked about her desire to learn more about baking and being a better baker. And she was describing her attempt at baking a cherry galette, and she said that it just didn't turn out well and tasted like effing sawdust. It was just a really relatable moment, and of course, everybody laughed along with her account of her baking disaster because we've all been there. Another question centered around feeling empowered as a female entrepreneur in a growing business, and she described a kind of pivotal energy that she felt after turning 40 and feeling more empowered. And then she said, but of course, now at 51, she doesn't hold back and is more like, F it. The third F bomb gets dropped in the next session, so let's move on to that now. The special guests for the final session of the day, hosted by Gwyneth, were artist and designer of the decor brand Jungalow, Justina Blakeney, and entrepreneur, CEO, and co-founder of Good American and founding partner of Skims, Emma Grede, who was recognized by Forbes as one of America's richest self-made women under 40. As you can imagine, they discussed women in business, balancing life outside of work, getting started and growing their brands, creativity, marketing, and a little background of their journeys. At one point, Gwyneth's third and final F-bomb dropped. I just love it when she does that. She's so poised and so well-spoken, and then suddenly the F-bomb makes an appearance. In this scenario, Gwyneth was quizzing Emma Grede about how she strikes a work-life balance and said, you have 5 businesses and 4 kids. How the F? And Emma talked about how making trade-offs in certain areas had to happen in her life, having a lot of help with the kids, and also the importance of self-care, even when you have a busy schedule.
I know that I only work well when I look after myself, but I have to schedule it like anything else. And again, it goes back to that thing of trade-offs, because when you're like taking a massage instead of doing, like something else, it can feel guilty, but I know that I have to do those things for myself. And I am absolutely like maniacal about doing things that make me feel good, whether it's acupuncture or it's working out. That's why I get up at 5. I don't get up at 5 to answer emails. I get up because that's the hour and a half that I have in my day when nobody's speaking to me. It's time for myself, and I work out and I sweat and I do whatever I need to do, and I think through things. And for me, it's often much more about like, when do I have a moment where somebody doesn't need something from me or is like asking me a question?
Emma was really well spoken and had a great onstage energy and presence, and she glowed with health. I remember her being a guest shark on Shark Tank and being impressed with her sense of leadership and innovation. So it was really special to be in this setting and witness the candid discussion about women in business with these three successful female entrepreneurs. Very inspiring. Eventually, that was a wrap, and the event came to an end. It was a full day and it felt so enriching and uplifting. The overall vibe was intimate, relaxed, informative, and supportive. During the event, there were a couple of videographers, but it didn't feel intrusive. There was a low lighting during a lot of the sessions, and you could come and go with plenty of time and freedom to go and pick up a warm drink or take a bathroom break or visit the lounge and the Goop shop. You felt valued and cared for throughout this event. At the end, Gwyneth thanked everybody for being part of Goop. The Goop community is pretty chill and adventurous and well informed. They asked really well thought out, interesting questions. Everyone was very respectful and really receptive to each session, and the staff were all in unity, and there was a relaxed happiness in the air. It was kind of a pleasant retreat like vibe. No one was talking loudly on their phone or being obnoxious or raising their voices. It was like a joint nervous system regulation, and it seemed like everyone came out feeling better than they arrived. I mean, I had a huge smile on my face as I left, and it definitely had something to do with the fabulous gift bag. I didn't really have a set expectation of what would be in the gift bag, but I knew it would be iconic in some way or another. Well, it exceeded my expectations, and I can safely say that I won't need to invest in skincare for at least another year with this haul. There were too many items to list, but they included things like clean beauty premium products, facial serums, Goop products, hair care products and masks, mineral SPFs, home and body clean fragrances, luxury non-toxic cosmetic brands, gift cards, a new release book by one of the experts, and much more. We were really spoiled. As I collected my bag, I noted how heavy it was as I slung it over my shoulder and made my way out of the meeting room. I passed the Goop staff and I smiled. As I continued along the hotel hallway towards the outdoor seated area, I noticed that I was still smiling, and that was my indication that I had just attended one of the best events that I've ever been to. An entire day of just feeling like I was really fully understood to my core, learning new things to enhance my mind, body, and spirit, eating and drinking things that are deeply nourishing, not only to my body, but all my senses, feeling uplifted by the energy and unity and shared values with others, engaging in elevated and authentic conversations about this magical thing called life, and incorporating movement, sunshine, self reflection, and opportunities to explore innovative wellness practices. It just doesn't get any better than that. So, would I attend another In Goop Health Summit? Most definitely yes. And let's make these kinds of events more of a common practice. A full or half day immersion into wellness centric activities, tools, and discussions for women, sustained by creative, colorful, healthy whole foods in a relaxed and supportive environment. We need more of this, and I'm here for it. Let's invest in ourselves so we can give from our overflow and be inspired to create powerful, positive change in our lives and the world around us. Let me know in the comments if you've ever attended an In Goop Health Summit or if you plan to. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more wellness tips.